All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Attack on Cowboys. Happy Halloween and all that other good stuff. Let's get right into Stephen Jones sounding off on a trade deadline, some injured players, and a bunch of other stuff. Let's get right into it and be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content on the Reg.
Shut your up.
All right, y'all. Let's see if Stephen Jones can give us some stuff to be happy about right here.
COO Stephen Jones joining us now in the G-Bag Nation. Stephen, how are you? Happy Halloween, sir.
Happy Halloween, guys. Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. It looked like a lot of the team was dressing up today. Are you in costume as we speak?
No, I'm not yet. I may dress up as something for my grandkids tonight, so get in the spirit a little bit.
I love that.
Ooh, is that more fun or scary?
I'll probably do one that's fun. Mine are probably too young for scary.
Well, Stephen, I'm going to get this one out of the way, but obviously Jerry had a quote with the Wall Street Journal that upset fans this week about choosing the oil deal rather than spending time fixing the defense. I know Dak got asked about that. Troy was asked about it as well. He said that doesn't reflect well on the commitment to the football team. What were your thoughts on?
I'm not going to lie. I get it. That was a crazy comment to make from Jerry. Yes, I'm eating. Y'all got to deal with it. I got to live. Y'all got to live.
On that and the fans' reaction.
Yeah, I just, at the end of the day, I think it's taken out of context. I mean, I think what Jerry meant is he shouldn't be on a phone call. But, that, as we all know, you don't spend every waking minute on the phone with trades. He spends time with your station, I think, 30 minutes a day, 2 times a week. And I think that was the point with the writer is he shouldn't be on a call talking to him about the interview. But as you know, that's part of Jerry's job. He does a lot of interviews. But, we're extensively working on, as we are today, trades and a lot of people in the mix in our organization that work through all that. But, I just think it was taken out of context, if you're asking my opinion. I mean, no one's more dedicated to working and has a passion for the game, for the Cowboys than Jerry.
Stephen, I've been with you when and Jerry.
That right there is some Stephen defending his dad, but also I'm sitting here trying to think, and I can't really think about times where I see Stephen Jones commenting on non-football-related topics. And if he does have interviews and stuff out there, they are not nearly as visible as the ones that Jerry Jones has out there. So, very interesting. I don't know, y'all. Are we going to be in better hands with Stephen Jones? Because being completely fair, and I just spit a little bit, I know y'all probably seen that. Being completely fair, man, Stephen Jones has been very locked in on trying to make moves, trying to make stuff happen. And I'm pretty sure he's going to say something in this interview that kind of plays towards that a little bit. But this season, I'm not talking about no other time. Don't be in the comments talk about 30 years. I'm talking about this year. It feels like Stephen Jones is more dedicated or more locked in on roster improvement and really trying to be active as a front office, bro. It kind of been on that time in all offseason. And it goes back to when we think about them guys telling us, oh, we like our guys. We like our guys. Remember that old joke, we like our guys. We haven't heard that all year long. Even when the season was about to get started and, there's a bunch of excitement, we still haven't heard we like our guys. We've been hearing them say, we're looking to develop this roster year round. Let's keep going.
Asked me to make calls and help in that situation, and I always appreciate the experience of doing that. I'll ask you this, and I've kind of made a prediction. I think you guys want to trade. I do think you want to do something to help your team. I don't know what the rest of the league will allow you to do what you want to do. Is that a fair question? I mean, a fair observation from my part?
Yeah, well, it takes 2 to trade,
right?
And so the trade, you don't ever want to trade for the sake of just saying, hey, we made a trade.
Right.
If we can find players that make us better and the deal's right, then we're always up for that. Jerry's got that in his blood. He likes to trade. He likes to do deals, and but at the same time, we're not going to do a deal that's not in the best interest of our team. And but I will say this: there's certainly interesting things that are out there as we head down to the wire, and we'll be giving those every opportunity to look at and give them good going overs, as you just said, Brian. There's a lot of people involved from our. That's why you have.
He said there's. So we went from Jerry saying just a couple days ago, there's not anything out there right now that I could start over, begin with, or nothing like that I can think of making a trade about. And Steven just said there's a lot of things out there that we're interested in. Very interesting.
Our pro personnel departments
Right.
that are talking to other pro personnel departments, and they find they're way up through Will and myself, and ultimately Jerry, if we really want to, roll up our sleeves. And but it involves the personnel department watching all the tape again, and they show the coaches, and they have to say, hey, here's where this guy can be an upgrade from what we already have. And then obviously we're in those type of meetings if we all are on the same page that this makes us better.
Steven, a couple of weeks ago, we always ask you about trades and adding players and stuff. And you said, hey, teams are in that point where they still feel like that they have a chance. Are we getting closer now to teams just saying, listen, we don't have a chance, or this is the best for us? We got to move on from this guy. Are you finding that the phones are being more receptive to you, or is it still kind of what you thought maybe a couple of weeks ago when we first started these conversations with you?
There's always at the competition committee level that debate, and the debate is, should we let the trade deadline go deeper into the season?
Yes, sir.
At the same time, you don't want people, giving away players and changing, having it really affect in a bad way the competitive nature of what everybody's done to put together a team. So there's a fine line there that you draw. But I will say the best way to say it is.
Now, that's an interesting way to think of it, Steven, but my question would be to you, is everyone else thinking of it like that? Is everyone else thinking about the competitive spirit of the league like that, to where they're like, hey, we're not going to take advantage of teams, or we're not going to allow teams to just give away guys? And if that is the case, is there some type of vetting process, like you got a fantasy league where you can veto trade? Is there some type of vetting process where the league is like, this don't smell right? Because if that was the case, man, there have already been some trades that the league should be like, man, this don't smell right. Eagles, I'm looking at y'all, bruh. So I don't know, bruh. I don't know.
It was real interesting today. You got the Ravens, who are a good team, 1-5. They win one game, and everybody agrees they're a really good football team and are back in the mix. Yeah. And so, it's just, at the end of the day, it's, there's, I think, one or two teams that have one loss, and everybody else has two or more, and so it's tight. And but at the same time, I do think a player, each team looks at their own situation and makes a decision. Hey, should we go ahead and take the value, get a pick, or should we trade a player for a player, whatever that trade may be? But there's a lot of things that go into one, and that's why ultimately trades can be very difficult to make.
Steven, last week, difficult against the Broncos, those inside three. We've been talking about it all week on their defensive line and stuff. Arizona presents some challenges as well. Kind of felt like it was unfortunate that Cooper Beebe didn't play for you last week. Any kind of update? I know we got him as a full participant. Is it trending in the right direction for him against this Arizona inside three? Yeah,
he was so close last week, and just made the decision. It was in his best interest and long-term best interest not to play. But, at the end of the day, we fully expect him to go this week. Barring some setback, our normal Friday practice, which is a good practice, will be Saturday tomorrow. And, that'll be the final telltale. But, barring something unforeseen, I expect Cooper to play for us.
Have you ever considered throwing the headset on, getting on the sidelines like the Ursay lady?
No, I don't think so. But, to each their own. I mean, I don't know what her role is, and so I shouldn't speak to it. But I do know my role, and it doesn't need to have a headset on it.
I would just love to see you tear into a referee one of these days, Steven.
You won't be seeing that.
Stephen Jones with us on the Fan. Any other health updates? I know we all got nervous with Overshown yesterday leaving practice. How's he doing? Donovan Wilson, Diggs, etc.
Everything's trending in a great direction for us from a health standpoint. Dono, Hooker, obviously Overshown had a little thumb issue. And if it's your thumb, it's not a little thumb issue, I'm sure. If it were mine, that damn thing hurts.
Not for real,
though. At the end of the day, dislocated, the top part of his thumb and was able to get right back out to practice. And he's trending in a great direction to play against Vegas. And so is Rebel. He's really doing some good things out there. And obviously, it'd be great to see him keep coming along, and it looks like he is, and it looks like there's a good chance you'll see him joining our roster for the Vegas game.
Steven, how difficult is that then? And you've been a little bit up and down defensively. You've had some struggles. How difficult though is it? I know how coaches are. They like to kind of keep players. How difficult is that to navigate bringing guys back off injured lists when coaches want to keep guys because they feel like, hey, I don't have to worry about this guy if I play him in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, Brian, and that all goes into the mix. But, as you know, we've had our challenges on defense, and we need, we could use, we can use any help at any level. And whether it's, at the end of the day, this is our third coordinator in 3 years, and Eberflus is getting to know our personnel, and the personnel is understanding what Eberflus wants. And then there's just the pure deal. That's why we're considering trades mainly on the defensive side of the ball, of just getting better in terms of improving your personnel. And it's nothing against the guys we have now.
Sure.
It's just
Love
if
that.
we get a chance, whether they come from
Love that,
PUP
Stephen
or
Jones.
IRDTR or via a trade, if we can upgrade the roster, then we'll do it.
With the lack of continuity
Okay.
at defensive coordinator, does that make it more likely that you'd hope that Flus would be here beyond this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, that's what you go into every situation. That's why you sign coaches to 3-year deals.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you have to keep making this defense better. No point in sitting on your hands. No point in, oh, season's over. Oh, forget everything. No trade. No. I told y'all asses. This is why you have to make the defense better. Because Matt Eberflus is going to be here, especially if he has an excuse of we don't have the personnel. Matt Eberflus is going to be here. This is why you continue to get better. You maximize every single day, every hour, every second out of this 4-year window that you're trying to exercise with Dak Prescott, these guys. Because that's what this is. This is a 4-year window with Shadi, Dak, all these folks. So you have to use every second of that trying to get better. There is no time to take a year off or take 6 months off and be like, oh, forget the roster for 6 months until the draft. We don't have time for that, y'all. We do not. You got to get better.
Head coaches to 5-year deals and 4-year deals. And, your hope is that it all works out. And certainly that's what we hope will happen, and that the situation, is going to continue to evolve, which I know it will. I mean, Coach Eberflus has been a high-end coach. He was a really top coordinator
a lot of
obviously,
confidence
there in
in him.
Indianapolis, and to the point where it got him a head job in the NFL, which we all know is difficult. And then he had really good defenses in Chicago. So I know right now he's not satisfied with where we are. We're all have to be better as a team. All our players, all our coaches, all our executives, all ownership, everybody needs to look in the mirror and see where they can be better.
When it comes to the deadline, assuming you get a dance partner here, how important would it be to get a player with multiple years of control versus just a guy that might be here for the remainder of the season as a rental?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit that goes back to what Brian said. A lot of times the players they're willing to trade are the ones that that they don't have under contract, and they might be able to help us for this year. And oh, by the way, it doesn't mean that we won't sign them, re-sign them once we get them here. And, players tend to want to stay here, and we feel good about our chances if they come in here and have a good experience of keeping them. But, usually it's hard to get the guys who are under contract for the right number. Usually those teams want to keep those players, and it is difficult to break those guys out. So a lot of times you are looking at guys who.
So in other words, y'all, all this making drama after trades, bro, when you trade for a player, it's a guy that's on his way out of a team, bro, or he no longer fits into the plans of that team. And the only way that a guy that's under a new contract no longer fits into the plans of a team is that team has a complete overhaul like the Miami Dolphins probably about to do with a new GM, new head coach, all that stuff, right? Then those guys are going to want to get their own players in there, and they'll start using some of those more higher value assets to get more assets back to build that, right? That makes perfect sense to me. You're going to be going after guys that are on 1 or 2 year deals when you're trading. And with that being the case, you're not likely going to see any first-round draft pick type trades mid-season, y'all. You're probably going to see a 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, or something. I think the Cowboys are probably going to be somewhere in that range as far as what type of trade they make. At most, we see a 2nd. And honestly, I keep saying this. I'm saying it every single time so it gets beamed into y'all head. Our 2nd and 3rd-round draft picks have been so suspect. Those are expendable to me every year. Every year, I'm willing to trade those off. Keep your 1st, 2nd, and 3rd expendable.
Maybe have just this year left. But, that'll be part of it, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Stephen, I was with you when we traded 2 1s for Joey Galloway. Are we still in that mindset of, hey, we've got these multiple ones? Are we still, if it comes to be the right type of player, are we committed to going that route again?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, you never rule anything out, Brian. Obviously, very, as you see in this salary cap era, very few players are 2 number 1 picks. We obviously had a unicorn there in Micah, who's obviously an elite player in this league. Most of the time it's tied to quarterbacks. I don't know that you would see the 2 1s, that type of thing for most players. But no, if a very unique situation came along and everything added up, then you never say never. But I do think there's very, very, very few players in this league that are worth 2 1s.
Stephen Jones with us here on the Fan.
Interesting.
What type of challenges?
No first-round picks getting traded this trade deadline, unless it's Jeffrey Simmons or somebody like that.
can it present when you have a team like the Dolphins who move on from their general manager? And if you were trying to negotiate a deal with a team like that, new GM, how does that change how things play out?
Well, every situation is different. When a GM steps down, and obviously I got nothing but respect for Chris Greer. He serves on the competition committee with me, and I just think he's outstanding. But that's tough, and get in tough situations there. I think he's been at Miami for 26 years, so I know how tough that has to be on ownership, on the decision makers to make a decision like that. But every situation's different. Sometimes people want to stand pat. Sometimes people carry on because you got a great situation in place and a great staff in place, and I'm sure Chris did, and they keep with their strategy in terms of that ownership's probably been on board with as they've talked through this trade situation, and they're going to have a guy in place that I'm sure is going to execute. And more times than not, I say they usually stick with the conversations they've been having.
What do you think about the legacy of Kyler Murray, Stephen, at AT&T Stadium? Well documented. He's never lost.
Well,
I know
Kyler
you're a big
Murray,
high
I
school
don't care
football
about
fan
that
like we are.
At Allen, have nothing but respect for him. I actually played against great quarterbacks in Texas, and have nothing but respect for the Murray family and what they stand for.
Any chance you can give us a hint on the positions maybe you're looking at with these trades?
It's probably somewhere on defense, and at the end of the day, we're obviously looking for ways to improve that there, and we've got to continue to be more consistent and execute. And I do think we'll get better, and hopefully, there's an opportunity to improve the team between now and Tuesday.
Well,
y'all, the Cowboys are 100%. Bro, at this point, I think it's like a 95% chance they make a trade, y'all. 95% chance they make a trade at this point. Real talk. Just the way Steven is talking is not like he's leaving much room for doubt that they're going to do something, or they're trying to do something. 95% chance that they make a trade at this point. I will have another video dropping where we go over some of the potential trade candidates. And we'll talk about all that good stuff there. But either way, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all on the next one. And now, bow! Them Cowboys. Thank y'all for joining me during my lunchtime. It was AOC.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.